All right, with this comparative advantage worksheet, what you got to understand is you got to make sure you watch the notes firsthand and learn that comparative advantage is who has the advantage, meaning who has the lower opportunity cost of producing something. So if I can produce, let's say, 6 bean bags in a day, and somebody else can do 4 bean bags in a day, okay, I have the advantage because in output, okay, the higher amount. Now, if it costs me $1.50 to produce a bean bag, but it costs somebody else $1.40 to produce it, then inputs being lower, okay, end up helping. So you want inputs low, output high. So when you take a look at this first question, okay, who has the advantage in producing something if, okay, we're looking at output prices. So if I can produce something and sell it for $6, but somebody else can produce it and sell it for $5.50 rather than 6, they have the advantage. So with output prices, whoever is lower has the advantage. Second one, final level of output production. So overall final production. So if I can produce 10, somebody else can produce 6, I have the advantage. So remember, output we want high. Hours to produce. If I can produce a beanbag in an hour and somebody else can produce it in a half hour, they have the advantage. So in amount of time, you want that to be low. And then the last one, price to inputs to produce that given level output. So, so when you take a look at this one, this is if it costs $1.40 to produce a beanbag for one company, and let's say for me it ends up costing $2 per beanbag to produce, the lower number has the advantage. They can produce it cheaper, lower, then they should be able to have the output price being lower, and they have the advantage in selling it as well. All right, so those are just a couple things I want you to know. Now, let's go ahead and let's do a simplified version, okay, of how to decide whether somebody has the advantage or not. So if we go back to these questions, okay, if we're looking at output prices, who should produce X? Okay, so let's say country A produces 100X and 50Y. Country B produces 200 and 60. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a short cut right now, because if you ever asked a question on the test, it just says who has the advantage and who should produce it, okay, you should be able to cross multiply and figure out the answer. Okay, so when you take a look at output prices, remember you want the high number, okay, or I mean the output prices, sorry, you want the low number. So if we go ahead and cross multiply towards X like this, 50 times 200 ends up being 10,000. This would end up being 6,000. So you want the lower number, okay, when you're looking for output prices. So of course, okay, country A should produce it. When you look at input prices, if the input prices, remember we want low, so country A should produce it. Hours to produce, we want low. So when you cross multiply, remember country A is at the 6,000, country B is at the 10,000. And then output, you want the high number, so country B would produce it. All right, so this is just a simplification. Okay, keeping it simple. If I just asked you this, instead of going and figuring out the ratios and the opportunity cost, which I'm going to show you on the next worksheet, this is an easy way to do it. Okay, now quantity of output. Remember, we want high, so we have to figure out, okay, who should produce Y. So let's cross multiply towards Y. And now look at, I put the countries in different areas now. So now you got it, Italy and Eurasia. Okay, so now we're going to cross multiply towards Y this way. So you got 500, and then this is 600. Okay, so 600 here, 500 here. So we want output, we want high, so let's put an E. Inputs, okay, we want low, so that would be Italy. Hours to produce, we want low, so that would be Italy, the 500 compared to the 600. Okay, and output prices, we want low, so that would be Italy. All right, now this last one, if you cross multiply, and let's say it's who should make cars, so we cross multiply towards cars, it's 600 and 600. Now in that case, it basically, both countries have the same opportunity costs and stuff for both vehicles, I mean cars and shoes, so neither would have the advantage. So just put none cross that all the way down. They shouldn't trade with each other because neither one would end up benefiting. All right, so this is the first worksheet. When you get done with this one, go on to the next one.